It's time!
Welcome to High School Pitchside. We have another fascinating episode for you.
More matches, more big clashes.
Let's talk about some of the big rivalries coming up this week.
More of your favorite features.
And trust me, you won't fall asleep in this history class.
And of course, we always want to hear from you.
Hear from your alma mater's players and coaches in Team Talk.
You know we can't leave you out. So send us your messages on social media and watch us react on FanView.
And you know we love a good little debate, right, Gio?
We've got you covered all season long on High School Pitchside.
High School Pitchside, your ultimate guide to all things schoolboy football, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
Need to estimate your duty? Perform a track and trace? Search for a declaration?
Then download the Jamaica Customs mobile app today. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
12 p.m.
Thanks for joining us for CVM News at Noon. It's Thursday, October 2, 2025. I'm Amoy Harriet. Thanks for joining us. Up first this afternoon, more than 100 students and staff from Manchester High School have joined in the search for 12-year-old Jaden Smith, who went missing last Friday. Police in the parish have told CVM News that the boy was spotted last night by a search team. However, he ran away. Students, teachers, community members and law enforcement have joined forces trying to locate the young boy. Our news team spoke with principal of the Manchester High School, Jasford Gabriel, a short while ago.
Conclusively, based on who I spoke with, Jaden was seen along this Wesley Road area here last night. When they raised the alarm, he started to run. One of my staff workers at school saw him, and she said that she had gotten some help from one of the male persons that was on the road that was going in the other direction. They could have held on to him. But by the time they could have done anything, he disappeared somewhere in the area. And so the positive we take from that is that he's alive. We are happy for that. And we think we're getting closer and closer to having a breakthrough. And so we are combing the area with a number of eyes, as we have said. And the expectation is that we will find him. We want to see him and grab him. And then we will take it from there.
CVM's correspondent in the parish, Orlando White, is on location and now joins us live with the latest. Orlando, where are you now and what's happening on the ground?
We're along the path of the Wesley Road. That vicinity is where eyewitnesses claim to have seen Jaden yesterday evening, and they attempted, of course, to apprehend him or to call him. He ran. That's what I was told, and that's what the theory of the principal, who also updated me recently. As it is now, we have police officers and members of the school community presently searching areas that seem abandoned and areas where he, might have been or has a potential to be, a hideout spot for him.
So, Orlando, what's the mood among the search team, given that the young boy was seen last night, Jaden was seen last night?
Well, one of the most important things is that persons are happy that he is at least alive and that we are closer to, locating him. And so persons, what we are doing now is coordinating the area. We have the support of drone operators, so we have some drone support here. Coordinating the areas. Different aspects of the search party are spread out along the perimeter, and we are searching effortlessly. But persons are hopeful that at some point soon he will be found and taken in to be given the necessary care.
And just before you go, Orlando, what have you been hearing on the ground in terms of why Jaden would have even ran away after the search party found him last night? What are you hearing from residents?
We're hearing a lot of mixed messages and mixed signals. Well, predominantly we would have seen concerns of his confidence in where he is and where he's living. And whatever the incident that took place, you know, where his aunt told us the story of he and his cousin playing and, you know, fractured a leg. And, you know, we wonder if there is some guilt happening there, and so he's probably fearful of coming home, you know. So that is the conversation amongst persons on the grounds in the streets. That's what we're picking up. And persons are just concerned for him and hopeful that, you know, we'll find him and he'll be okay.
All right, thank you so much. That's Orlando White, CVM's correspondent in Manchester. Of course, we're going to be tracking this story, and we'll have later updates later in CVM News at 7. Now, again, law enforcement are reminding the public that anyone with information on the whereabouts of Jaden Smith is asked to call the Alligator Pond Police at 876-224-3113. In the meantime, the government says it's moving to ramp up its response to what stakeholders are describing as a growing bullying epidemic. Speaking at a post-cabinet press briefing on Wednesday, Minister of Education and Youth, Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, said the ministry is joining forces with the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, on a comprehensive national anti-bullying campaign.
We're already actually quite advanced in the work with UNICEF in looking at an anti-bullying campaign that gets to the heart of the issues. So remember, we don't just want to put a Band-Aid on a problem. That's not our administration's approach to anything. It's about understanding deeply what the issue is. And there's more to it. When we talk about peace in our country, we talk about violence prevention in our country. So that work that our Violence Prevention Commission has been doing is critical. And that's going to be coming soon, and we'll be talking about it at Post-Cab here. Because there are elements in our society, cultural norms too, that we're going to have to address if we want to truly do this. But we have to be strong on this bullying issue.
Now, over in Trelawny, police are searching for 77-year-old Dennis Mahaney of Falmouth, who has been missing since Tuesday, September 22. Police reports say Mr. Mahaney left home for work and didn't arrive. Neither did he return home. Police say several efforts have been made to locate him, to no avail. Now, the military, police, K9 Division and members from Area 1 Police Headquarters have been dispatched to the area to assist in the search. Now, the Wakefield police are asking anyone with information on Mr. Mahaney's whereabouts to contact the police station at 876-610-3283 or the nearest police station. The Rambo police in Hanover have arrested and charged a popular rafter with assault following an incident in the Leth community where he allegedly assaulted a man over money on Sunday. Charged is 37-year-old Vivian Crichton, otherwise called Bumpy. Reports are that about 1:30 p.m. Mr. Crichton got involved in a physical confrontation with a man who allegedly owed him money. Mr. Crichton reportedly took matter in his own hands after holding onto the man, reaching into his pocket and removing cash totaling $12,000. The incident was quelled by other rafters and a report was made to the police station. An investigation followed, after which Mr. Crichton was arrested and subsequently charged. Paul Buchanan's bid to overturn the results in the St. Andrew West Central constituency has been unsuccessful. Incumbent Member of Parliament, Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness had retained the seat on the night of the September 3 general election. Now, Mr. Buchanan had written to the constituted authority on September 16, urging that the results be overturned. He argued that irregularities and violence on election day amounted to what he described as a substantial distortion of the process of free and fair elections, citing Section 37E of the Election Petition Act. Mr. Buchanan submitted several affidavits from himself and supporters in a bid to strengthen his case. But after reviewing the claims against existing case law, the constituted authority ruled that the evidence didn't meet the high threshold required by the Act. Now, Mr. Buchanan was formally notified on Tuesday that his request had been denied, along with a copy of the reasons behind the decision. This ruling effectively closes the door on one of the first formal attempts to challenge the election outcome. Opposition spokesman on finance Julian Robinson is warning that the government's failure to spend its capital budget is slowing Jamaica's growth. He was reacting to a report from the Independent Fiscal Commission, which shows that of the $40.5 billion allocated for projects in the first 3 months of this year, only $20.1 billion was spent. Now, this means nearly half of the planned capital spending went unspent, which he argues is continuing a 3-year pattern of underspending that's holding Jamaica back compared to its regional peers.
Jamaica projects to have only 1% growth each year for the next 4 fiscal years. And the major reason, a big part of the reason for this, is that we cannot spend the capital budget which has been allocated in each budget cycle. The government needs to move with alacrity to address the bottlenecks and the problems that are preventing it from spending the capital budget, or else we will not be able to move to 3, 4, 5% growth, which is necessary to lift the living standards of the Jamaican people and to generate the tax revenues to provide the social services that are necessary.
Now, following days of heavy flooding, calls are intensifying for stronger infrastructure and more effective disaster management across Jamaica. Speaking on CVM's lead story, Member of Parliament for South East St. Andrew Julian Robinson and President of the Incorporated Master Buildings Association, Richard Mullings, weighed in on the issue.
Based on the volume of water that we had in a short period of time, the infrastructure can't manage it. You know, we have the same issue on Chelsea Avenue with the rains as well, which caused severe flooding. It's just that the drains, which were built maybe 50, 60 years ago, can't deal with the level of water.
The drainage system is not being updated and not being upgraded. We're not spending that much money to build, expand, revise the existing drainage network for what seems like maybe decades to do any serious investment. There's been a lot of talk about for example, drainage on Marcus Garvey, but just a failure to implement.
Stay with us, more after this break.
It's the dawn of a new day, and the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation is shaping a future filled with opportunities and limitless possibilities. The government is building the foundation for a thriving tomorrow through strategic billion-dollar investments that fuel industries, facilitate an environment for job creation, and empower communities to rise. We are transforming Jamaica with world-class sustainable infrastructure, creating a nation where every Jamaican can achieve more and build a lasting legacy. The Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, investing today, building a future for tomorrow.
Welcome back to CVM News at noon. The issue of deportees returning to Jamaica continues to be a point of contention. Opposition voices have criticized the government for failing to implement a clear monitoring framework, arguing that many returned nationals struggle to reintegrate and are sometimes drawn into crime. But the government has defended its approach, pointing to existing rehabilitation programs and support mechanisms, while noting that there is no evidence deportees are a primary driver of crime. So what does the handling of deportee monitoring say about Jamaica's approach to crime prevention, human rights, and national security? Here to speak with us on the matter is opposition spokesman on national security, Fitz Jackson. Welcome, Mr. Jackson.
Ms. Amoy, and welcome. Good afternoon to your listeners also.
Now, Mr. Jackson,
Indeed.
there have been long-standing claims that deportees contribute significantly to crime. Does the data actually support this view, or is it a misplaced blame?
Well, personally speaking, it's something that I have to fully acquaint myself with. As you're aware, I just took over the assignment back a matter of days during this week, and it has been raised. I'm aware, as a Jamaican, that it is a source of concern for many Jamaicans. No one in Jamaica want to feel that potential criminals are being unleashed on Jamaica. On the other hand, many persons who are deported are not necessarily of a criminal background. So we need to probe the data a bit. I have not yet done so, but I give the undertaking that it's something that I will investigate greater and be able to give a more informed assessment as we go forward. But it remains a concern, and to the extent it's a concern, it has to be addressed and be done so in a transparent way. It is not sufficient to say something is being done without us in the public, not just the opposition, but the public at large, do have an appreciation that the government is being assertive, being comprehensive in making sure that we don't make avoidable mistakes or overlook or issues that need to be addressed in this regard.
So on the note of fair and transparent way, there are suggestions that deportees should be monitored. What would a robust and fair monitoring system look like in practical terms?
Well, monitoring would require offhand, periodic reporting to the police so that they can be accountable for. Someone commit an offense in another jurisdiction doesn't necessarily mean that they're a threat to this country, but their background, their antecedents will inform what their dispositions are, and it will give the security forces an opportunity to interact with such persons on a periodic basis that is deemed sufficient to keep the security forces advised or informed that such persons are not engaged or seem to dispose to engage in criminal activities that can compromise the security of persons around the communities and the society as a whole.
So beyond monitoring, Mr. Jackson, how important is social reintegration, such as job training, community support, ensuring deportees don't fall through the cracks?
Very, very important, because as we are aware, there are many persons who have left Jamaica decades ago, actually never even grew up in Jamaica, but of Jamaican citizenship because they were born here. And that's the basis on which the deportation would take place. But they have no social connections in the country at all. And it is for that reason that I believe the government ought to be involved with the deporting countries in a structured and organized way, that to the extent that we are accepting our own citizens, because we can't deny accepting our citizens, but out of a sense of cooperation, that it be done in an organized way, and support as is necessary or needed, we provide to assist with this integration exercise. Let's face it, the reason why these persons are being deported is because the deported country don't want the person to be a threat to their communities, to their society, and they are being transferred to Jamaica. So they are seeking to relieve themselves of those threats. But we on the receiving end also have a duty to ensure that we are not exposed to undue threat from these persons, and the preventative steps that are not even preventative but can mitigate the reoccurrence of criminal activities in Jamaica. Then we have a duty to do that.
So as a country, how do we balance national security concerns with respecting the rights of those nationals or deportees that are returned to Jamaica?
It's a delicate balance. I will accept that. It's a delicate balance, and that's why it needs to be treated with some sensitivity and with professional competencies to achieve that end. But you're correct. It's a delicate balance.
We don't want to treat persons who are not necessarily criminals as criminals because you stigmatize them and you also make them more difficult to reintegrate in our society. So I can't give you the specific 1, 2, 3 of that integrating exercise, but I'm pretty clear in my mind that that must be an imperative going forward.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Jackson. That was opposition spokesperson on national security, Fitz Jackson. Crime is trending down in St. Andrews South. Commanding officer for the division, Superintendent Damian Mandison, says murders in the division are down by 20%. Member of Parliament Dr. Angela Brownberg credits joint efforts between residents and the police. Carla Ramdeen has the details.
Senior Superintendent and Commanding Officer for the St. Andrews South Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Damian Mandison, says there has been a